The power that lies in the small. Now, if you're anything like me, you'll have a long list of goals, priorities, and things you really want to achieve in this new year, 2021, right? There's a lot of things that a lot of us wanted to do last year that we weren't able to do, and so this year, we've kind of had to re-strategize, reformalize, and really think about, okay, what goals are we actually going to strive towards this year? However, I just want to encourage you to take a moment to really acknowledge the power that lies in the small changes that you can make to your everyday life, right? So a small change, for example, could be simply waking up 30 minutes earlier, so that you could, schedule a post, or you could write a caption, or you could spend some time journaling. We all make these little promises to ourselves that, we're going to invest in ourselves, we're going to read more, we're going to spend more time with ourselves. But a lot of the time, if we don't actually schedule that time in, it simply doesn't happen. So a small change that you can make this year is to just schedule in a bit more time for yourself, even if, like I said, that means waking up a little bit earlier than you usually would, right? Another small change you could literally make this year, particularly for those who are wishing to drive up their engagement on social media, is to actually block off a section of time to actually engage or with other people on these social media platforms, right? It sounds really silly, but in order to get engagement, you need to give engagement, right? So even if it's 30 minutes, I'm just going to focus on Instagram for 30 minutes. And this is something that I personally do, right? Between the hours of 1 and 2, every single day, I spend 30 minutes on Instagram. So 1 o'clock to 1:30, and then from 1:30 to 2, I spend 30 minutes engaging on Twitter. And that's for my business brands. And the reason I do that is because I want to ensure that I am actually putting that time in. Because when I do put that time in, I notice the difference. I notice that the brand accounts actually get more engagement, right? So I see the difference. But when I don't schedule it in, it just, like I said, doesn't seem to happen. So that could be a small change that you're willing to make this year. And another small change that you could possibly look into making is really thinking about the way that you speak to yourself. This is a difficult one. It's a hard one. It's not always something that people feel comfortable talking about, but the truth is this: the way that you talk to yourself, the way you address yourself, the way you speak to yourself really does affect your ability and your capability, right? It's a mental thing. So kind of taking more care in how you speak to yourself could be that small change that you make this year that could actually impact and make this 2021 one of the best years that you've ever had. Another small change you can make is to take a walk every morning, right? That's something that I've definitely been trying to do more of. I used to, and I must confess here, I used to jog every single morning, but the colder it got and the longer lockdown got, it just felt harder and harder to just get outside. And so as a kind of alternative for that, I have at least committed to taking 30-minute walks every day. And whether that be in the morning, whether that be in the afternoon, whether that be in the evening, just making sure I'm getting some sort of fresh air into my lungs every day. And it's really important for me because that is time that I can spend reflecting. That is time I can spend listening to podcasts. That is time I can spend just thinking. And, often that's where I have some of my best ideas. So I don't know what changes that you want to make to your life in this 2021. But don't ever underappreciate the small changes that you can make to make your life better, to make it suit you better, to make it be more conducive for the life that you want to live, right? So whatever the change is that you have to make, don't think that it has to be one grand big gesture, okay? There is power in small changes. In fact, it's the small changes that probably count the most. So that's just something I want you to remember today. And I hope you have a wonderful day at that.